Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Omar Khan's response to Steelers' Matthew Stafford question turning heads. Pittsburgh Steelers general manager Omar Khan walked a tightrope while discussing the team's quarterback situation to reporters at the NFL Combine. Although Khan expressed the desire to bring back Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, or perhaps even both, he conveyed that other quarterback options are on the table. Khan arguably walked an even finer line when addressing a question about Pittsburgh's potential interest in a trade for veteran signal caller Matthew Stafford. Khan seemed to suggest a potential Stafford-Steelers trade was fake news. But the Pittsburgh general manager also didn't rule out the possibility. "I'm not going to comment on specific players or things that are out there," Khan said, via Steelers Depot. "The one thing I've learned is that there's a lot of fake news out there. It's just part of what we do, but there's a lot of fake news out there. But we'll see what all options are on the table until we address our quarterback position." Several NFL pundits and social media users reacted to Khan's response to the Stafford Steelers rumors. "To me, Omar Khan sounded a lot less firm about the QB situation this year at the Combine compared to what he was saying last year at this time," tweeted Chat Sports' Jack Sperry. Steelers emerging as rumored trade destination for QB Matthew Stafford. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported on February 21 that the Los Angeles Rams have provided Stafford permission to seek a trade to other teams this offseason. In the first week since that report, rumors that Stafford could land with the Steelers have heated up tremendously. On February 22, Bleacher Report's Mo Moton proposed the Steelers trade 3 2025 draft picks to the Rams for Stafford and wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Kupp announced on X, formerly Twitter, on February 3 that the Rams told him they will try to trade him this offseason. In Moton's proposal, the Steelers gave up a 2025 second, fourth and fifth rounder for Stafford and Kupp. According to Fox Sports' Jordan Schultz, that won't be nearly enough. Schultz reported the belief is the Rams are asking for a first-rounder in return for Stafford. Schultz also wrote that Stafford is seeking a new contract with future guarantees that will make him one of the top 10 paid quarterbacks in the league. Those are tremendous obstacles to overcome if the Steelers wish to pursue a Stafford trade. But the team is a potential fit because Wilson and Fields are both unrestricted free agents. NFL pundits, social media react to Omar Khan's answer on potential Stafford trade. As has been the case with many Steelers topics the past few years, pundits were split on Khan's response to a potential Stafford trade and the possibility of the veteran quarterback coming to Pittsburgh. Stafford turned 37 years in February. But he still may be the best short-term option behind center the Steelers possess this offseason. If you're serious about winning while Hayward is here, and what is in his prime, hopefully it's not too late, this is a call Omar Khan should make, tweeted 93.7 The Fan's Matt Call. "See if it really takes a first-round pick." Other pundits disagreed. "Stafford doesn't fit what Pittsburgh wants in a quarterback, youth and mobility," Steelers Wire's Allison Kohler wrote. They do, however, have that in Justin Fields. Pro Football Talk's Miles Simmons addressed the nature in which Khan answered questions about the Stafford rumors. "It might be a stretch to think that Stafford could be on his way to Pittsburgh, but the door doesn't seem to be completely closed when it comes to Khan exploring it as a possibility," wrote Simmons. Stafford led the Rams to a 10-6 record with a 65.8% completion percentage, 3,762 passing yards and 20 touchdowns with 8 interceptions last year. He made the Pro Bowl in 2023 and won a Super Bowl with the Rams during the 2021 season. But while Matthew Stafford may be the best quarterback option for Pittsburgh in 2025, he offers little long-term security. Realistic Steelers mock trade proposals to land former rumor mill darling. Besides Brandon Ayuk headlining the trade market for the Steelers last offseason, they had other targets. They flirted with adding several players, but Courtland Sutton remained a top choice outside the Ayuk saga. His current employer, the Denver Broncos, declined to ship him out, which got them back into the playoffs last year. Sutton will hit free agency in 2026, so a new contract is warranted. Most of his availability stemmed from wanting a new deal last offseason, so he might hold out if Denver or someone else can't sign him to an extension. Adding Sutton via trade would be a nice get for the Steelers. He is a solidified weapon on offense, but his contract problem might land him a new home. Broncos insider Benjamin Albright speculated Denver might be willing to ship Sutton away. I think Pittsburgh's looking to add a receiver, not subtract one. I would not be surprised if the Broncos jettison Courtland Sutton, to see Sutton and Pickens pair up on the outside there in Pittsburgh. The idea of landing a star receiver in a trade is lovely, but it will cost something to acquire him. The veteran player is on an expiring deal, which could hamper his trade value. Pittsburgh might have to pay him and George Pickens this offseason, which could make the Steelers hesitant to pay top billing for this potential acquisition. Pittsburgh Steelers mock trade proposals for Denver Broncos wide receiver Courtland Sutton. Steelers mock trade invests into known commodity rather than the draft. With a weak crop of receivers coming out of the draft, attacking Pittsburgh's need through trade or free agency might be their best bet. They should still take a flyer at the position when the draft rolls around, but investing a mid-round pick into a known commodity like Sutton is a great trade. This move doesn't include a contract extension, so uncertainty about his future could linger. Adding Sutton in this mock trade would solve the Steelers' continuous problems at the receiver position. They get a guy who can play second fiddle to Pickens, but can also be a top target if injuries add up. Most fans would be thrilled with this addition. Resolving his contract could still be accomplished, but this move would let them worry about that another day. Steelers and Broncos exchange receivers and late-round picks in mock trade. Things could get interesting in a potential deal between the Steelers and the Broncos. In this mock trade, both parties exchange receivers for a swap of late-round picks in the upcoming draft. Pittsburgh gets an established receiver who can help take their offense to new heights, while Denver gets a young player who could thrive under the direction of Sean Payton. Fans could feel bitter about letting Calvin Austin III go in this move, but he will hit free agency in 2026, and he isn't going to improve much. Sutton is a guy who will be a guaranteed answer to the Steelers' problems. This potential trade would be a bargain for Pittsburgh. They get a top receiver for a young player and move back a couple of dozen picks in the draft. Steelers named landing spot for Dolphins All-Pro WRPITTSBURGH. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in need for a shakeup to their wide receiving room after a year of listlessness and disappointment permeated the skill group. George Pickens was good, albeit consistent, but depth issues and off-field issues caused problems the entire season, leading the Steelers to finish with the 7th least passing yards in the league, behind teams such as the Tennessee Titans and the Cleveland Browns. In order to aid the room, a plethora of moves have been suggested that would reinvigorate the room and propel them to success in the coming season. One such suggestion came from ESPN analyst Dominique Foxworth, who suggests that the Steelers should be in the market for trading for current Miami Dolphins wideout Tyreek Hill. In an appearance on Get Up, Foxworth suggested the Steelers attempt to land him in order to aid their room. Maybe Tyreek Hill to the Steelers, Foxworth said. I think they still need a consistent threat as much as they may like George Pickens at times. He's not always the player that they want him to be. I think Tyreek Hill, given the history of that organization and how they've made the best of some eccentric receivers, I guess I'll put it, Tyreek Hill could fit in nicely there because they still need some explosiveness out of that position. And some reliability, frankly. And his speed is reliable. Hill would undoubtedly provide a spark in the Steelers' offense, one they will need as the rest of the division improves around them. That being said, the likelihood of them parting with the assets necessary to land a player like Hill seems a little far-fetched. Of course the fit is undeniable, but who are they able to give up that would not lead to the trade being a net negative for the organization? A more likely scenario is building through the NFL draft, possibly in the first round. And are you a fan? What do you think of Tyreek Hill's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.